God-level duplication system. Chapter 82. Conspiracy. You will fail. Lin Xuan, you are the new disciple. Don't be too arrogant. After that, 5 or 6 disciples of the inner sect furiously challenged. Among them were all late Qi transformation stage warriors. However, they were all sent flying by Lin Xuan's punch. No matter what, they couldn't withstand Lin Xuan's seemingly unskilled punch. This punch did not even seem to have been used in martial arts. It did not have any power, as if even its strength was weak. However, this punch was so powerful that even 5 or 6 late Qi transformation stage warriors couldn't withstand it. It looked extremely strange. The scene fell into silence once again. Everyone looked at Lin Xuan, who was in the arena. Their faces were filled with shock and disbelief. Although they didn't know what kind of martial art Lin Xuan used, it was a fact that he had killed 6 late Qi transformation stage warriors in an instant. The reason was that Lin Xuan had already surpassed the late Qi transformation stage. At this moment, Lin Xuan had only been at the beginner level for a month. At that time, he was only at the early enlightenment stage. It could be seen how terrifying Lin Xuan's talent was. Everyone was deeply shocked. Although they felt very uncomfortable, they had to admit that Lin Xuan indeed had the right to look down on them. They didn't dare to ridicule and look down on Lin Xuan anymore. In the crowd, Chen Yuzi sighed in his heart, "Lin Xuan, you have really exceeded my expectations again." He could not help but be shocked for Lin Xuan once again. On the arena, Lin Xuan did not mind. He had a faint smile in his eyes. He looked at the attribute panel in the void in front of him and nodded slightly. This time, he had obtained a large number of energy points. In addition, he still had 10,000 contribution points as his stake. After he returned, he could cultivate for a while longer. Unfortunately, the number of contribution points was still too small. The further one advanced in the martial path, the harder it was to advance. These 10,000 contribution points could only be exchanged for over 1,000 substandard spirit stones. All of these were not enough for him to break through a few realms. He had to earn another sum of money. After that, Lin Xuan's gaze swept across the entire scene. Practically no one dared to meet his gaze. However, there were still a few Qi transformation stage peaks who looked back at him, neither servile nor overbearing. However, Lin Xuan waited for quite a while. These people had no intention of challenging him in the arena. Lin Xuan pondered for a moment. His eyes sparkled when he saw these people. He quickly understood. He was now in an awkward situation. His performance was just too strong. Not even these Qi transformation stage peak warriors had the confidence to defeat him. And he was only a new disciple. If these few people went up on stage, their victory would be natural. But if they lost, they would lose a lot of face. These people weren't fools. They wouldn't do such a thing. His previous words had disdained the entire group of disciples of the old inner sect. However, as long as they pretended not to hear it, everything would be fine. In any case, he was talking about the group, not the individual. I didn't expect that. Lin Xuan shook his head and sighed. He had actually turned the situation into this. However, he could change the situation. Lin Xuan continued speaking in a clear voice. It seems like you old disciples of the inner sect only have a slightly older qualification. None of you are useful. You can't even suppress a new disciple like me. This generation of people from the sect can't do it. This time, his words were even more direct and obvious. When the disciples heard this, their fury surged. They clenched their fists tightly and gritted their teeth. Lin Xuan continued. What's wrong? Am I wrong? Are you still not convinced? Then come and give it a try. I'm waiting for you here. If you have the ability, then fight me in the arena and make me shut up. Lin Xuan's provocation was even more obvious. This also caused the anger of the old disciples to soar. However, none of them took a step forward. They just stood there, gritting their teeth. There was even less of a need to talk about going onto the arena. Because the 6 late Qi transformation stage disciples in front of them had already lost to Lin Xuan. None of them were a match for Lin Xuan. Even if they went into the arena, they would only be defeated and lose even more face. We have to add fuel to the fire. Lin Xuan saw this and thought to himself, after which, he spoke in a clear voice once again. None of you have the courage. All of you don't even dare to fight me. Chen Anren, Zhous, and Chen Huan, none of you dare to fight me. You all are really useless. Why don't all of you go home and farm? This time, Lin Xuan still said it with a sneer. His provocation was even more intense. On the battlefield, Chen Anlin, Zhous, and a few other Qi transformation stage peak warriors had ugly expressions on their faces when they heard what Chen Anlin said. They had never thought that Lin Xuan would be so ruthless as to directly point them out. They had wanted to hide in the crowd and turn a deaf ear to what Lin Xuan said. Now, they couldn't hide even if they wanted to. They had no choice. As expected, after Lin Xuan finished speaking, the eyes of all the disciples on the scene fell upon them. Senior brother Chen, we're counting on you. Senior brother Zhou, hurry up and suppress Lin Xuan's arrogance. Senior brother Chen, it has been a long time since we have lost so much face. You have to work hard for us. Otherwise, how are we going to face those new disciples in the future? The surrounding disciples were all trying to persuade them. They used all kinds of reasons to ask Chen Anlin, Zhous, and the others to fight in the arena. Lin Xuan's contemptuous words made them very angry. But they were not strong enough, so they could only bear it with grievance. Now that Lin Xuan had pointed out Chen Anlin, Zhous, and the others, they naturally had to do everything in their power to get these people to go up there. If they won, they could help them vent their anger. Even if they lost, they wouldn't lose anything. In any case, it wasn't them who went up on stage, so they were naturally happy. Thus, it formed such a scene. Damn it! Chen Anlin, Zhous, and the others looked at Lin Xuan. Their anger was surging. They never thought that they would still be dragged into the water by Lin Xuan. Lin Xuan was obviously trying to goad them into doing this. Anyone with discerning eyes could see it with a single glance. However, they just couldn't avoid it. They had to accept it and go onto the stage. Otherwise, in the next moment, it wouldn't be Lin Xuan, but them who would be targeted by all the disciples of the inner sect. They couldn't deal with Lin Xuan, but when it came to criticizing them, they were truly experts and didn't feel any burden at all. This was why Lin Xuan's move was so brilliant.